Welcome to Giant Cocktails, a podcast where two lifelong fans talk about the San Francisco Giants while drinking homemade cocktails. Now, here are your hosts, Ben and Matthew Henry.
Welcome to Giant Cocktails Midweek Review. I'm your host, Matthew Henry, the maestro of muddled mixes, here to guide you through another delightful blend of baseball and cocktails. Today, joining me is the illustrious, the incomparable, the Grand Duke of Diamond Drinks and Sovereign of Sliders, Ben Henry. He's just one pulled hamstring away from going on the IL, but he's still swinging for the fences and shaking up cocktails like a pro. Pour yourself a drink and let's dive into the latest baseball buzz. How you doing, Grand Duke of Diamond Drinks and Sovereign of Sliders?
Now, are we talking like sliders like mini hamburgers? Because I can totally get down with that.
That's where I was thinking. It probably meant the baseball pitch, but
it probably meant the pitch currently known as the sweeper.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm feeling a lot better. I have a real cocktail today, Matthew. Believe it or not. Yeah. So I'm excited to talk about that.
Well, me too. Maybe we should just get into it. Before I do that, though, I just want to check the hamstring's okay.
Matthew, my hamstring has not been okay since 1994. I did try to nurse through 2 years of college, D1 track and field. Because, you know, as you were also, Matthew, I was a D1 athlete. So it's doing pretty good. It's doing pretty good these days. Much better, but never quite 100%. And that's the truth. That's the truth. That's the way it is for hamstring injuries. So I think we're going to talk about that a little bit later in the show.
We are. But I think first we need a drink.
Yeah, we do.
All right. Well, I'm gonna just jump right into my drink then. Today, Ben, I'm drinking something I'm calling the Margarita Dorada, which means the golden margarita. And it's got 2 ounces of Tequila Blanco, 3/4 ounces of Yellow Chartreuse, 1 ounce of lime juice, a barspoonful of agave syrup, and 1 dash of orange bitters. Put all that into a cocktail shaker with ice. Give it a good shake for, I'd say, 12 to 15 seconds. You want some dilution in this. And then you're going to strain it over in a rocks glass over a nice ice cube or some fresh ice. Garnish it with a lime wedge or lime wheel and enjoy it. It's basically a riff on a margarita using a Yellow Chartreuse. A Yellow Chartreuse, though, is way sweeter than any of the orange liqueurs, so you don't need a whole lot more sweetener than that. You probably could even just eliminate the agave if you wanted to, but it's a nice, refreshing cocktail, a little bit of a twist from a margarita. That's what I'm drinking today, Ben. What are you drinking today?
Well, thank you for asking, Matthew. Today, I am drinking, now it's not anything fancy. I haven't been working on it for a week. I was barely certain if I was going to do this at all until today. But today I am drinking a berry-infused gin old-fashioned. Now, the gin is what has been infused with the berries, and then I made the old-fashioned out of that, not the other way around. It has 2, I made a double because I've needed it for so long. This has 4 ounces of the Og Natura pink wildberry wildflower gin. It's Icelandic, yes, and because that's my second home. And it has, in this case, 1/2 ounce of rich simple syrup, and then 4 dashes of Peychaud's bitters, and then I stirred that with ice until it was well chilled. And I poured that into a rocks glass, and then I added a large sphere of ice, and I garnished it with a lemon twist instead of an orange twist. And that's what I'm drinking today. The pink gin old-fashioned, I guess, is what I'm calling it.
All right, tonight, what we're going to talk about, obviously we had well, we'll talk about the Philly series, but really we got to talk about a couple of main things. One, LaMonte Wade Jr. and his hamstring injury. Could be, is LaMonte Wade Jr. irreplaceable? That's the question that we're going to ask ourselves. Then the next question after that is shortstop a question mark on this team? And how do we solve that riddle? So those are the two main topics. And then, of course, we're going to hit you with a lightning round. And, that'll close out the night. So today, Ben, is Wednesday, May 29th, as we record this podcast. 7 years to the day that Bryce Harper and Hunter Strickland went at it on the mound on Memorial Day.
And ended Michael Morse's career.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Yeah. I blame both of those guys because, you know what? I don't like Hunter Strickland. And I don't like Bryce Harper either. So I blame both of those a-holes for just being class a-holes.
Yeah. Well, you got to be an a-hole when you hold on to a grudge for 2.5 years before you. Seriously. Anyway, but that's not what we're talking about tonight. But it is interesting that Bryce Harper also had a little bit of a temper tantrum today on this day. Maybe it's just the day. Maybe it's the way the stars align on this day. I don't know. But after the Giants took 2 out of 3 from the Phillies this week, we are now 29-28. One game over 500.
Wait, stop. I don't believe you.
What?
I got to go check the standings.
They're one game over 500.
Okay. Yeah. No.
I could see how that would be a problem.
Well, yeah, that's the part I don't believe. The over 500 part is the part I'm having a hard time believing. Okay. Yeah.
The last time that happened was like the third game of the season, so I could see how this could be
That's not
confusing.
True. Don't lie. Okay. Yes.
They were once 2-1. They were 2-1.
You were right.
After the third
you were
game.
right. They're 29-28, one game over 500. I can confirm. Also, don't lie because I want to use this joke again, even though I'm pretty sure I used it way back then. I think that's the first time that they're over 500 since they won 107 games.
You did use that one before. You're right.
Yeah, I'm going to keep using it. I'm going to keep using it until they finish the season over 500. Because
okay.
I don't.
Boy, we could be in for a long haul.
Yeah,
then.
We could be.
I'm just happy that we won 2 out of 3 from a team that hasn't even lost 20 games yet this year. So
that's kind of amazing.
I'll take it. We got swept 4 games to none before.
Yeah.
So taking 2 out of 3 is great.
And by almost, I mean like we won the first 2 games. I don't. There was not a competitive. There was not. I don't mean like they almost won the third game because there was. Yeah. They really didn't.
No, there was. You got to score some runs.
They scored 1 run, Matthew.
Oh, that's true. They did.
If Kyle Harrison had thrown a perfect game like I demanded in our last show, because I say he's got to step it up. He's got to step it up if he wants to be most improved, right? And did he? Did he throw a perfect game? No, he did not. And that's why the Giants lost today. So thanks, Kyle. Thanks a ton.
All right. Well, one of the other reasons why the Giants may have lost today was because we don't have LaMonte Wade Jr. in the lineup. And just how irreplaceable is LaMonte Wade Jr. to the 2024 San Francisco Giants? Because he was kind of our only offense at times this year, consistent offense, I guess I should say, this whole season.
Well, completely and totally irreplaceable. Like you said at the beginning of the show, Matthew, we're gonna ask, is LaMonte Wade Jr. irreplaceable? And then I don't know, is shortstop a question mark? And I was like, the answer to both of those is yes. LaMonte Wade Jr. is irreplaceable. I said it when all of this stuff was going down and things were looking really down after Jung-Hoo Lee got hurt. I said, folks, if LaMonte Wade Jr. goes down, it's over. I don't feel that way anymore because, Ramos and Matos and Luciano hadn't shown up and played respectably at that point.
Matt Chapman hadn't become Matt Chapman.
Yeah, Matt Chapman hadn't shown the good side of Matt Chapman. And so, we knew this already, but he's completely and totally irreplaceable, Matthew. I don't know.
Can I shed some light on how irreplaceable he is? If you're a numbers guy like I am, I went and looked at some numbers.
Yeah.
So first of all, let's just get depressed together, right? LaMonte leads all major league first basemen with at least 150 plate appearances in average, batting .333, and on base percentage at .470, and weighted runs created plus with 170. He's 70% above league average. And then the walks to strikeout ratio, almost equal at a 0.94. He tops them all and all of that. And so just it's how do you replace that? To top it all off, he was also one of the top defensive first basemen in the majors this year so far with 3 defensive runs saved. So not only was he doing it on the offensive side, but he was playing a very good first base. And so you're taking a considerable amount of talent on both sides of the ball away from the Giants right now. And I don't want to be like Chicken Little, but Ben, the sky might be falling.
I mean, you know, this is the big buzzkill when it comes to baseball, right? Like, as much as we like to complain about Farhan Zaidi and how he should be fired, and by we I mean me, you know, like, and I'm not saying Farhan's good. I do like the roster that he built during the offseason. I blame most of the way that this roster has performed on the players. A lot of them have rectified that. You know, we're still waiting on Blake Snell to pull himself together. He just admitted that spring training, by the way, is important, Matthew. That's what he learned. He learned that spring training is important. Just as a little Blake Snell aside.
I'm finally realized that.
Yeah, but you know, at least that's fun. Like, at least it's fun to yell about how much Farhan Zaidi sucks, and then I can pretend that if I had Farhan's job, everything would be better. And that's definitely pretending, because I'm an idiot. But like, that's what most of us fans do, right? We all fantasize that. Like, we go through this phase where we can no longer realistically envision ourselves hitting the walk-off home run in the World Series. And that younger kids, you can push that into your early 40s. But there's a point in time where that fantasy just really stops working. And I've passed that point. You can always be the hobo, right? And then you could, of course, always be the owner. And so those are the phases in your life you go through. And right now I'm in the hobo phase, where I could be the hobo and I could be better at it. But let's face it, of course I couldn't. But Matthew, when it comes to injuries, there's nothing to be done about it. It's such a buzzkill. And the Giants have had so many injuries cut this team down. And luckily, in a lot of ways, what's replaced it has been more exciting and has helped, you know, ignite the team and has helped them, you know, get to the point where they are now, where they're in the playoff spot. They're even in the second wild card spot. They're in the bad wild card spot now. But like, I don't know. I don't know how you replace LaMonte Wade Jr. Like, they're, you know what? Our only hope, Matthew, is Wilmer. We need Wilmer to step it up. We need Wilmer to, like, you know, the music is playing, Wilmer.
And there's a few reasons to think that could happen. One is just look at last year, right? I mean, Wilmer was our top offensive player last year when given finally the chance to play every day. It wasn't, you know, I mean, if you begin, it's similar to this year. He was spot start, spot playing, uncle, what do you call him? Daddy, not uncle.
Whoa, what? Who's your daddy?
I've forgotten his name now. The manager from last year that we hated.
Okay, let's be very, very clear, Matthew. I refer to Gabe Kapler as stepdad.
That's right. That's stepdad, not dad.
Not daddy. Okay? Okay. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're one of those people, if you were one of those people, I get it. They were out there. But that was not me. He's stepdad, right?
Fair enough.
Right?
All
not
right.
daddy.
Okay, so we're getting off track here a little bit. My point was that stepdad Gabe Kapler, and I can't believe I had a mental block on his name. I think I just was like, I don't need that name anymore.
You don't need it. Whatever. Krapler.
Before he came to his senses and started playing Wilmer every day, Wilmer ended up having a really great season. And so I think we could look forward to, with Wilmer's more playing time, to see Wilmer start to heat up. And we've already seen that today. Even though they lost 6-1, he had 2 hits and he's batting almost 300 for the last 7 games. So we're starting to see a little bit more of what we expect from Wilmer.
I believe in Wilmer. I believe.
Yeah,
I'm a believer.
The funny thing is that when I was looking up the defensive stats for LaMonte, and I was looking, I actually put it in as a minimum 150 at bats, and I was like, okay, what pitchers are, or what first basemen are good in defensively? And Wilmer was 6th, I think, in the majors, but above him was actually a guy named Wilmer Flores with 4 defensive runs saved. And I think he was 3rd in the majors with that stat. So, which is, we don't think of Wilmer as a great defensive first baseman, but so far this year, he's been doing really well. And then I was looking at batting average on balls in play, and LaMonte leads all of major leagues with a 436 batting average on balls in play. Now the stat guys will tell you that is unsustainable and that he likely would have come down at some point, but he probably would have. I mean, he's got a career bat around 290, which isn't bad, but yeah, I mean, you're not going to hit 436 for a whole season probably. But interestingly enough, Wilmer's career batting average on balls in play is 271, and this year it's been 233, suggesting that maybe he's been a little bit unlucky, or at least hitting them where they are and instead of where they aren't. And so I think those are both reasons to think that maybe Wilmer could help bridge that gap to when LaMonte is ready to come back. And we're looking at least 4 weeks before that happens. So there's a lot of games, 30 games that Wilmer is probably going to have to hold down the fort. Unless there's somebody else. Bob, can you think of anybody else that might be available to help the Giants?
The captain, Brandon Belt.
Oh, wow.
That's get his agent on the phone. I mean, how soon could he be in San Francisco?
You know what? Let's do it.
Trenton Brooks can just go right back down to AAA. He could still be looking for his first major league hit, and we'll bring back the captain.
I mean, that would be crazy. Now, but the thing is, it would only be a cup of coffee. It would be a brief stint, and I love it because it would just send Giants fans into a frenzy. And it's kind of difficult also under those circumstances to bring a guy like that back, especially for a situation where you're like, he's just keeping the seat warm. You know what I mean? And because LaMonte is going to be back, so we didn't talk about that at all. LaMonte is unfortunately seriously injured, but he's not. This isn't a season ender. But no, I like the Brandon Belt idea just because it's crazy. So it's a good idea, Bob. It's a crazy idea, but
crazy enough that it just might work.
Yeah, but I think Brandon's career is over, and I don't think it's gonna. He's not gonna get his last heyday, and certainly not with the Giants. Not now.
All right. Well, the second question, Ben, was, is shortstop a question mark? You've already answered it by yes.
Mm-hmm.
Bob, what do you think?
I wonder how Carlos Correa is doing these days.
Bob,
that's not going to work.
Yeah, no, he's not. He's engaged. He's otherwise engaged, Bob.
I was going to say he's married.
Yeah, well, he's married. Yeah, Bob, he's in what we call a permanent situation. He's in a committed situation. Because good for him, he found something after he got jilted. I mean,
no, good for him, and I'm glad that he's finally playing well again, and good for him, and good for the Twins.
Oh yeah,
I guess.
I love it. I love that Carlos Correa is back to being Carlos Correa. I love it. I love looking at his stats,
especially since we're having a conversation right now about
Matthew,
whether shortstop is a question mark.
I'm so excited about it. Oh man.
Oh, well, let's recap this last couple of weeks, right? Okay. Because we've had Nick Ahmed sprain his wrist, and then we had Luciano came up and couldn't catch the ball half the time.
Right, but was hitting. Sure.
And
is still hitting.
But,
even as what did you say?
You keep saying that, but then then you'll tell me how important defense is when I talk about Matt Chapman. So you can't have it both ways, Ben. He's got to play good defense, and so there's that, and then we've auditioned Brett Wisely and Tyler Fitzgerald, and so we've had some guys that have kind of come through that have played the position maybe okay, if not spectacular. what is the solution to this? I mean, we already talked. I mean, Luciano today, last 2 days didn't even play, and then when he does get the start today, he leaves early because of a possible hamstring. Yeah. So that dreaded hamstring again.
Well, okay, so that has to get sorted out for sure. So you put him.
I think he goes on the IL and then just takes nothing but ground balls.
Yeah, you put him on pause, and because you really, if that's really a thing, then you don't want it to be an issue, and then you put him on pause, and then he works on a lot of grounders as his rehab. And then when he's healthy, I think you got to send him down. You got to send Luciano down so that he can get the reps that he needs at shortstop, or they teach him how to play first base. And we solve the former problem. Something, because the kid is hitting. Even in the sporadic at-bats that he's had, you told me he was 3 for his last 6.
No, he's hitting. And, just he's been making some really bad errors at really key times.
He cannot play that position for this team and play defense that way. I know a lot of people are like, oh, let him work through it. And, it's no. I don't think
Logan Webb would want him to work through it while he's on the mound.
Exactly. Logan Webb doesn't want it. You don't want him out there when Blake Snell is pitching on the off chance that Blake Snell gives up a grounder. No, you need a reliable shortstop. And I get it. Luciano is hitting, and that's upsetting that he's not getting the opportunity, but he is just so bad. So he's not the option. Okay.
Wisely and Fitzgerald, maybe the option. I mean, they're temporary options, right?
Look, I don't buy the Brett Wisely surge.
Bob Melvin said yesterday after the game that Wisely is looking more and more like a shortstop. That's what he's told the media.
Yeah, well,
and
so shortstops is like your best defensive guy who can't hit. So yeah, fine.
He's only batting 500 over his last
I don't buy it. It looks like Casey Schmidt to me. Casey Schmidt to me. His on base percentage is lower than his batting average. That is not a good hitter. Okay.
Well, he's not a good person who take walks. That's what that means. But he's doing all right.
I will say this: he's hit a homer, he's hit a double, because there was a period of time where his slugging percentage matched his average, and his average was higher than his on base percentage, and that is not a good offensive line. I don't care how high your average is; that is not sustainable. I will say this: let the kid prove me wrong. Keep doing it, kid. As for Fitzgerald, I'm glad he's back on the team. I love his versatility, and I think he can play shortstop. Both of them are better shortstops than Marco Luciano.
At this point, yeah. Okay, well, one final thing, Ben. Rumors going around that the Toronto Blue Jays, who are in last place in the American League East, could be getting ready to part with some big ticket items in order to kind of retool their lineup. One of those is shortstop Bo Bichette. Could be available. Would you give up Marco Luciano and Carson Whisenhunt for 2 years of Bo Bichette? How are you even thinking about this? The answer is yes.
I mean, yeah, I would. Yeah, I would.
If that's all it takes, considering the depth that you have at the starting position, at the starting pitching depth that you have, Whisenhunt is going to be probably a pretty good starting pitcher, but you have to give up talent to get talent.
Yes.
And so, yeah, I would in a second trade Luciano and Whisenhunt for Bo Bichette.
Can I offer them Spencer Howard and a Pepsi machine first, though? Just to
Oh, sure. Try that. See if that works.
And then work my way up from there. I think Luciano for Bichette plus something else is a fine trade, because Luciano hasn't proved it yet. Bichette has proved that he can hit. He's also proved that he is a little bit better defensively.
Yeah, he's not quite the defensive stud that we would want, but he played alongside Matt Chapman last year and did just fine, because Matt Chapman, I think, probably
stole all his balls.
Some of that range.
Yeah. That's fine. Bichette is a proven hitter, and I think you should always give up prospects for proven. Luciano is borderline proven, right? I mean, he hasn't had a large enough sample for us to really know at the plate. I would like to give up little less than Whisenhunt, but I'm on board.
Okay. And my feeling is that I'm starting to come around to this whole idea that Luciano won't stick at shortstop, and then you're just trading an outfielder for Bo Bichette
or
and
a first baseman. Okay.
Either way, you're not trading a defensive kind of key spot position. So I'm okay with an outfielder for a shortstop like Bo Bichette, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. I mean, and then the only reason that Luciano has been a shortstop is because the Giants say he is. Like you and I, we don't know.
We don't know. But it seemed like a lot of other people felt like he wasn't.
And we have now seen a lot of it, right?
Yeah, starting to think that maybe I know.
Yeah, we're starting to think that we know. And maybe we have less bias than the people who have known him since he was 16 do. Yeah. So yeah, I would definitely make that Luciano and somebody else.
Okay.
I don't want it to be Wizenhunt.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see.
It's time for a lightning round.
All right, let's do it. Disclaimer, folks. We are about to use some colorful language. If that offends you.
There may be colorful language. We're not going to beep it out. We're not beeping it out. So if you're in the car with your I don't know, a Dodger fan or a Phillies fan, and they have delicate ear holes or whatever,
then turn us down. Yeah,
turn us down. Oh, children too. Yeah. Because we're not beeping this stuff out. We're doing this raw.
Okay, here we go. Lightning round. Here we go. Ready for question number 1, Ben?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, here it comes. Is Bryce Harper a whiny bitch?
Completely and totally.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah,
yes.
100%. A whiny little bitch.
All right. On to question number 2.
Okay.
Two runs over the last 19 innings. Is that something that we should be concerned about, or is that just par for the course?
No, that's just we're just coming back. It's waves, Matthew. It's waves. I talked about this earlier in the season. This is what this offense is like. It's going to have its ups. It's going to have its downs. We just rode the wave.
Yeah.
All right. This is not a new normal, folks. We're just about to go down the other side of the roller coaster. And I know I'm mixing my metaphors, but I don't care. I've had my first cocktail in 4 weeks. Okay. 2.5 weeks.
All right.
And,
agreed.
Yeah.
This is not something that we need to be too concerned about yet, but man, it would be nice if Jorge Soler would actually start hitting. All right. Question number 3. Next question, Ben.
Okay, here we go. Question number 3. How big of a whiny bitch is Bryce Harper?
Really big. I mean, come on.
He's the biggest.
Today is an inside pitch with 2 strikes on him, and he's already staring out and barking out at the mound.
Okay.
Give me a break.
Okay. Yeah. You know what? I wanna give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. I think what happened today when he got, he yelled at Kyle Harrison. He told the child, "Listen, child, don't do that." And then the child went and the child just did it again.
Bryce Harper's not a dad.
Yeah. And he got just out of the way and he lets go of his hand. And I think if he didn't let go of the bat, the ball hits his hand.
Yeah.
So don't let go of the bat, you big whiny bitch. But also, the ball hits the bat. And I think that's why he was mad. I think he was mad that the ball hit the bat, and he was just like, and he's also like, just what did he, that was a dad moment. He was just being a dad.
Yeah.
All right. Next question.
Next question. Negro League stats are now being integrated into Major League Baseball stats. How cool is it that noted racist Ty Cobb is no longer the career batting average leader, and he loses it to a black man, Josh Gibson? I
mean, it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. I haven't heard many people say too many good things about Ty Cobb, and I hope he knows this has happened to him wherever he is, and I hope he hates it, and I'm glad. Yeah, absolutely. That part of it does not bother me at all. But here is the one thing that does bother me about this. Okay. This doesn't change the fact that segregation happened. I mean, let's not pat ourselves on the back too much. Okay. And right. I know none of us
they were still not playing against the best in the world.
Which they should have been, right? Josh Gibson especially, right? Like, I mean, this doesn't change the fact that they weren't in Major League Baseball, because of stupidity. And so, this is fine. This is fine. There's no problem with it.
I think the one thing that I think is that annoys me when I hear people complaining about how the Negro League stats are being compared to Major League Baseball stats is that there's this assumption that the Major League Baseball players were better than the Negro League players, and I don't necessarily buy into that. It could be completely the opposite.
You know what is true, Matthew, is that not every player who played in the Negro Leagues would have been good enough to play in the National League and American League. But also, there were a bunch of guys who were playing in the National League and American League who didn't deserve to be there because they were taking jobs that otherwise would have been filled by Negro League players. I don't even know what the price here is to pay. Like they're still separate leagues, right? It's like the American League versus the National League versus the Players Union League and the American Association League.
But that's a good point, because the National League and the American League didn't play against each other for many years.
So their stats are still separated in that regard. So like, this is just cool. And also, Baseball Reference did this like 2.5 years ago.
That's right. That's right. If you've been using Baseball Reference, you've already been
they've already been mixed in, so it doesn't matter.
All right. One last question for you, Ben. Mm-hmm. Is Bryce Harper the whiniest bitch in baseball?
Yes, he is the whiniest bitch. Like, he is the whiniest bitch. Yeah.
And the fact that he's like whining while he's like trying to fix his hair, it's like, give me a break, you know?
Yeah.
And so I just, he's all out there waving his hair and trying to get it all right while everyone's pushing each other around.
And then he asked for a different helmet, which I thought was weird because I didn't, like, when the pitch happened, I was like, oh, where did that get him? Because like that clearly hit him.
Yeah.
It didn't hit him. It hit his bat. So then, like, why did he ask for a new helmet?
Because the face guard broke when it fell off his head.
Oh.
When it actually snapped off.
When he jerked back like a little bitch.
That's right.
Yeah. Because he couldn't take one for the team. That's what we know about Bryce Harper. Can't take one for the team. Yeah. You know what I really like, though, about that is when Luke Jackson struck him out.
That was pretty nice. And the fans in the stands really like that too, actually.
Yeah, it made him look like a fool. And then Luke Jackson just walked off the field he's like, I ain't no.
Didn't even look at him. I ain't no bitch.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, fuck you. That's what Luke Jackson was thinking. Fuck, that one was for Kyle. Kyle should have hit you in your face. I don't know. That's what Luke was thinking. But I'd like to think that's what Luke was thinking.
All right. Well, that's it for today, folks. Upcoming opponents, I should say, New York Yankees. After a day off, we get the Yankees on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, who they are 37-19, first in the American League East. Both Aaron Judge and Juan Soto are going off right now, and they actually have a pretty formidable first five, and also their starting pitching looks really good. So they're a good team, and it's going to be a battle to try and win. But the good thing is that we've got Webb, Hicks, and we got Webb and Hicks, and then Snell. And then
the Blake Snell experience.
90 pitches in 3 innings? Yeah. All right, notable Giants to play for the Yankees. Tyro Estrada started his career there before we stole him. Jack Clark also played for the Giants, my personal favorite, one of my personal favorites. Chili Davis, one of your all-time favorites.
My very first favorite player, Chili Davis.
And then pride of Santa Cruz High, Glenn Allen Hill. Yeah. Played for the Yankees. And finally, Carlos Rodon, who I'm not sure where they haven't announced who's starting this thing. I'm not sure if he's pitching or not, but Carlos Rodon also, of course, playing for the Yankees.
I hope he isn't, because that's exactly the kind of game where the Giants get one hit.
Yeah, it is.
I really am interested in that LaMonte Wade bobblehead. It has like a working water cannon in it.
Water cannon, yes.
God, I'm really And that's a wrap, folks, on the midweek review. Thank you for joining us. We will be back on Monday with the big show, where the rants will be longer and the cocktails will be stronger. I'm supposed to say it the other way around. If you can't wait that long to get your fix, feel free to reach out to us on the social medias. You can find us in Zuckland, a.k.a. Instagram and Threads, where we go by the username @GiantCocktails. You can also find us on the Twitter, formerly known as Twitter, and Mastodon at the same username. Don't forget, you can also listen to us on YouTube, so run over there to like, subscribe, and comment. But most importantly, be sure to leave us a positive review, like 5 stars positive, because if it's not 5 stars positive, it's not positive, at your podcasting platform of choice, a.k.a. Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Matthew, You were gregarious today.
I thought you were going to say I was a whiny bitch. So good.
You're always a little whiny bitch.
Granted.
Keep up the good work. Cheers, my friend.
Cheers, Ben. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to the Giant Cocktails Podcast. Until next time, bottoms up.
Unfortunately, I do have to break it to our listeners. I believe sometime in the last 24 hours, former guest host on Giant Cocktails, Ken Alexander, passed away. He just quietly disappeared as my voice returned. I think late last evening.
Well, our thoughts go out to Ken's family and friends.
Thank you. I think I was his only friend, and I was definitely his only family. So, on my own behalf, thank you.
Hacking up a lung.
Jeez. All right.
Feeling better?
No.